Back in 1980, after Helene Pruszynski's body was discovered in a Douglas County field,
The first 48 hours, I'd say, are probably very critical.
detectives like Inglewood's Ron Frazier raced the clock.
We make as many contacts as we can immediately after a thing like this in an effort to try to talk with people when their memories are still in focus and that they can remember substantial information.
Those detectives did most of their best work talking to people, but it wasn't enough.
Within a year, it went cold.
Monday, a new breed of detectives watched as Douglas County Sheriff Tony Spurlock announced the fruits of their work.
Here we are today, where we have an individual who is in custody.
A development that was part cutting-edge DNA analysis.
There's DNA that's part of this case, a big part of this case, but don't misunderstand that it's like, hey, we just entered DNA into some voodoo database and out popped this guy.
Part old-school detective work. Here's how they did it. Investigators have had the killer's DNA for years, but with no matches in the FBI's national database, they recently turned to a new process known as genetic genealogy.
We found people that shared a lot of the same DNA.
Former Denver DA Mitch Morrissey's company, United Data Connect, started with those relatives.
Once we started working the genealogy, coming down his family tree, it appeared that his mother was a dead end, but she wasn't.
They found her two sons, ruled one out, then went to Florida and followed the other. After surreptitiously snagging his beer mug at a local bar, they had it tested for DNA. And those results led to the arrest of James Curtis Clanton. There are more than 1,700 unsolved murders and missing persons cases in Colorado. This kind of breakthrough is fueling hope that even some of those old cases that have long stymied investigators could finally be solved.
And do we have a number as to how many cases have been solved
This is the third case in Colorado this year where they've identified a suspect through genetic genealogy. We're now well over 100 nationally. I predicted earlier this year that in the next couple of years we're going to see thousands solved this way.
That's a wonderful thing. Criminals are out there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
And you kind of think in a case like this that somebody didn't just do this once. I know that sounds awful.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, the main thing here is if they've got, no matter how old the cases are, if they've got evidence that has DNA on them, that DNA can be used even today, no matter how many years have passed.
So get them off the streets. All right. Thank you, Kevin.